Great. Thanks. Well, thank you everybody for spending time with us this Thursday afternoon. I'm excited to share some great ideas from one of our Rex Trust suppliers, Kompan, and they're talking about the outdoor fitness solutions. So let me give you a background to Rob and Kevin. So Rob's educated as a physical therapist and personal trainer, more than 20 years experience in the fitness industry. He's been a pioneer in outdoor fitness since 2008 when he founded Standing Strong Outdoor Fitness, which was the first company to make adjustable and functional training in the outdoor environment. By 2010, they were the market leader in outdoor fitness and have multiple patented solutions. In 2014, Standing Strong was taken over by Compound. And in 2015, Rob joined that team and started the Compound Fitness Institute to develop new outdoor fitness lines and products. Since 2015, Compound has created more than 1,000 new outdoor fitness sites and is widely recognized as one of the most innovative and professional companies in outdoor fitness. Also with us today is Kevin Burkett. Kevin has been a client, a friend, and a longtime friend of mine for probably over 30 years. He's a former club owner. He's worked on both the club side of the industry, running multiple clubs, as well as owning, and worked on the supplier side as well. And Kevin's done a great job, I think, with helping to build a relationship between Compan and Rex. So I'm really excited for what they're going to be able to offer everyone. In addition to this, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, Kevin. So Compan has put together a great offer for all Rex members. They've talked about, depending on the investment, they're going to give you free equipment, and I'll let them get into the details of it. So anybody who does get involved with Compan and buy some of their great solutions, they've come up with a great Rex, really great incentive, a lot more than I expected. When I mentioned to them it'd be great if there was some sort of incentive, and they said, well, we'll come up with a Rex relief package for outdoor fitness to really help everybody. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rob and Kevin. And the format we're going to do is we're going to spend about 30 minutes with Rob and Kevin sharing everything, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A after that. Okay, Rob, it's all yours, and I'm going to go off video. Thanks.
Perfect. So Kevin, can you confirm that you can actually see my screen?
Good to go, Rob.
Good to go. Great. Okay, well, let's get started right away then. Here we go. First of all, I thank you for this opportunity. And you heard the name Kompan now as a trusted supplier for Rex, but I'm sure that you never heard it before. So I think it makes sense to talk a little bit about what Kompan is. Kompan is actually a company which is over 50 years old. It's a Danish company, so I'm calling in from Denmark now. It has been a global provider of playground equipment. So we're quite big in the playground scene. But since I would say 5 years, we're also doing more and more outdoor fitness. And if you look to what we do when it comes to the amount, I think we are putting around 1,000 new sites, playgrounds and fitness in ground every month. That's worldwide. In order to be able to do that, we have a team of over 1,500 people. And I think in the US, we're located in Texas, Austin. And I would say that in the US, it's a team of around 200 people. When you look at revenue, then our company is doing around 350 million US dollars per year, of which around 10% should be fitness this year, so outdoor fitness. And that is definitely something which is growing very quickly. But as mentioned, it's a global provider, and this is what we do. Big playgrounds, but also very small ones, just a swing and a balance beam, but also these very big things. This is a site in Australia, so all the way down under, very harsh, warm climates. But we can easily also be installing in Greenland, where it's also a very harsh environment, but it's completely different. But this, I guess, it shows you really well what we're doing. We create equipment that is made for the outdoor environment under any circumstances. So you can leave it there and you can use it in snow and sun without taking it indoors or without actually needing to put any covers over it. So if you look to our journey in fitness, then that's actually something that well, here it states that in 2008 we started with exercise equipment, but that was very simple training equipment, and also there was not a lot of volume in it. But that volume actually changed every year a little bit. It went up every year, and then in 2015, actually, Kompan acquired my company, and I joined Kompan. And the first thing I did was actually establish the Fitness Institute. And the idea with the Fitness Institute was actually to have a more evidence-based, solid foundation to create outdoor fitness equipment. And that's what we've been doing throughout of the years. And now the Fitness Institute is led by Morten Zacco, an associate professor at the University of Southern Denmark. And he's the one who actually makes sure that what we develop is evidence-based, it makes sense, and it actually gets people fit while they're using it, which might sound very normal for you guys from the professional fitness industry. But if you look to the outdoor fitness, then you will see that we actually have a legacy of very simplistic equipment that didn't really have a huge training value. But that's all changed. And just in order to talk you through that and give you an idea about outdoor fitness, I put up a small agenda. First, I'm going to start talking a little bit about putting the user in focus when it comes to creating outdoor fitness equipment. What does that actually mean to the equipment? Then we're going to show you some solutions on how to create the outdoor fitness setting. Then we also zoom in a little bit on senior solutions. Kevin will do that because he's much more senior than I am. And then in the end, I will also show you a little bit on how you can actually go really big and create very big, more kind of attractive sites. So a lot of things to do. But first of all, putting the user in focus. Again, from people from the indoor fitness, that is something that you've been doing since the beginning. But for outdoor, that wasn't really the main focus. The main focus was for municipalities who were actually investing in outdoor fitness. They just wanted to have a kind of an excuse investment. They saw that everyone knows that people need to move more, but they just wanted to have equipment which was simple, didn't cost too much, and also didn't have too much maintenance. And that's something that we actually believe that needs to change. Equipment needs to be appealing. It needs to have an attraction to people. People, they actually, when they see it, they need to want to use it. That is what we want. But also, if they use it, they need to enjoy it. It needs to be an exercise that actually makes sense. And they right away need to get the feeling, hey, this is actually doing something for me. This is actually providing me, the health benefits or the enjoyment that I'm actually looking for. And as mentioned, that was something that if you look to outdoor fitness, that was something that wasn't a common thing. And as an example, I can use the elliptical trainer. So on the left, you see our first generation elliptical trainer, and on the right, you see where we actually currently are. And then, of course, the first thing you see is the design difference. On the left, it has a very short footrest, what actually means that you basically are hopping up and down without really making that elliptical movement. And also there's actually, yes, there is a box to cover the moving parts, but there's nothing in it. In a sense, there's no resistance unit. So if we move to the right, then you can see, okay, again, the design is much better, but also in the box, which is now to the right, there's actually a motor unit with a gearing system. So a self-powered system that actually, when you start moving it, will actually allow you to power up a touchscreen, and then you can actually adjust the resistance, 25 watts to 750 watts in small steps. And of course, you can connect a piece like this via Bluetooth to your mobile device. Working with the standard Bluetooth protocols for the fitness industry. So all the data that you create can be used for any fitness app that you would like. So that is actually where we are currently. And I hope that you actually recognize this as an elliptical trainer, which you can also imagine being in an indoor environment, because that is exactly what we want. We want to give people the same user experience and have the same attraction as what they know from the indoors. But there is a big difference to an indoor piece, and that has to do that if you create something for the outdoors, it needs to be way more durable. So that actually means that every component um, we need to make a different choice when it comes to, okay, what kind of material do we use? How strong should it be? So for example, all the steel is hot dip galvanized and then powder coated. All the bearings are stainless steel or aluminum. That actually goes for all the moving parts. And then a cover, which is here in the back, a cover like that is actually made from Lexane. It's way too expensive to do that for the indoors. It's also not needed, but for the outdoors, you need to have a material like that, because Lexane is probably the strongest material that you can use in order to create a shape like that. So it actually means that if you grab a baseball bat and you start hitting the cover, and you need to be very, very persistent and extremely strong in order to make a dent in it. So it's a different game of working, and that actually also goes for the other machines. So this is the whole cardio range. You see an elliptical, two bikes, one bike which is more a spinning bike ergonomics, and a more upright bike, and then an arm bike. Rowing machine is also something that actually coming up. But the same thing goes for the selectorized machines, Kevin, right?
Yes, Rob. Eddie, it's great to be a part of Rex. We appreciate everything you're doing for us. So our selectorized strength really is a game changer. I mean, you're looking at the first selectorized strength training equipment that's made for the outdoors, but yet there's zero sacrifice in technology. It's super low friction. As you can see, you've got an easy instructional guide. You've got a resistance dial that you can use while you're being seated. You don't have to get up, go around, plug a pin in, come back around and sit down. It's all fully enclosed against any kind of weather. It's really been designed for ease of use, but yet we've got a lot of technology inside the machine. So let's take a little closer look at that. Thanks, Rob. So basically what we have, go back one slide real quickly.
Sure.
I just want to briefly touch on the lot. Okay, so we've got 5 pieces. What we've done is we've taken compound movements. We've got 2 pushes, 2 pulls, and a leg press. So as we all know, when you combine a push and a pull workout together, you really train a lot of muscle mass. It's very productive. You can activate a lot of things through that workout. So we want to keep it simple, but let's get under the hood and take a look at the technology. So, one of the things about designing strength training equipment, I mean, there's many things, many factors, but really it's the internal friction between the moving parts. And friction is a bad thing. That's the enemy. And what we've done is created extremely low friction in an outdoor piece of exercise equipment that's impregnable to any weather. And that's really an accomplishment. It's really a marvel of design. So in the lower left-hand corner, you can see a cam. So this is a variable resistance cam. We're using stainless steel guide rods. Our weight plates have Teflon bushings in every plate. And overall, it's just very smooth, very user-friendly. And, it's just something that checks all the boxes for people. It's a great product.
Yep, and to add to that is actually that if you look here to the selector mechanism, that's actually where we have a patent in the pending phase. What we actually do is that we use a normal weight stack, but we actually replace the pop pin with this selector mechanism. So that allows us to have a fully closed box where all the stops, all the hard stops, and all the moving parts are in this closed box. So that actually means that no one can put their fingers in between, and no one gets stuck anywhere. So that also makes it completely safe. And it's a much better protection of the system. So durability is also way higher. But that actually allows us. But what we've done is that you can say we created this middle segment Until a few years ago, outdoor fitness was what you see on the left, simple bars and benches, and what you see to the right. So more, equipment created for balance training, dynamic training, but the adjustable training, the things that people really want to use and the things that actually allows everyone to use it at their own level, that was something that was missing. And that's where we actually, where we worked hard and what actually allows us to create new kinds of solutions. And now I've stolen your slide, Kevin. So
That's okay. Here's go back once. I just want to touch on something, Rob. Um, well, the thing about this that's really important for our industry or for members, you're looking at every member type that you would ever want to have in your club. So you can take a look at these solutions and build programming around each one of these. We're going to talk about the senior solution because that's very important with boomers growing every day. But each one of these products can enable the club to zero in on that demographic and really focus on that and create more programming options, which means another cash stream, another revenue stream.
Exactly. So let's have a look at the outdoor fitness center. And Kevin, for you to talk us through this rooftop solution.
Yeah, this is just really exciting when you take a look at all the different areas that you've combined together in one location. There's so many different types of people that can train together on this rooftop. I look at it, I see a lot of different zones. I see small group training going on in one area. I could see members working out on Selectorize in another, or a boot camp workout in the middle. And there's so many options in the center. So this really becomes another location in your existing business. It has its own identity. And as we go on, you're going to see how these sites just become people magnets. People love to go there and they'll train with each other where normally you wouldn't see them in the same room together inside. It's just a wonderful environment to build a social aspect to your club along with getting members results.
Yeah, and just as to add to this, this is a location which we created for an outdoor gym group in South America. And they wanted to expand their offering, and they had no space indoors. They have the climate to do things in the outdoors. And now with the whole COVID situation, of course, this is also something that will allow them to diversify and really be attractive for way more people. Then the one in Freilassing. Kevin, also for you to put some words to this.
Yeah, this is right on the border of Austria. It's really in Salzburg. I don't know if it's in Salzburg proper, but it's right on the border of Austria and Germany. And this is considered one of the largest outdoor fitness sites in Europe. They've got a very robust training program. I mean, you can see 3 different solutions there, and they can train anywhere between 10 to 15 people in each of these areas. They've got a very robust small group training program. And it's just a wonderful example of how you can take some outdoor space that's underutilized. This is a drill down on that a little bit more. I mean, you can even see a group fitness area that's been provided. So it's really about using your space well, what you have outdoors and what you can do with it. And before today is over, we're going to show you some scalable options that will let you start down that path.
Yep. And then this one is circuit training.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really like the solution. So you can add your information afterwards. But what I like about this is that it takes not that much space. And I actually think I made a mistake here with the 20,000 feet, because it's definitely not 20,000 feet. It's just over, I would say, 1,500 feet or less even. That's the appropriate space. So let's forget about that one. But what is great about this is that this is all equipment, of course, that is very easy to use. You don't need a lot of skills. You don't need a lot of knowledge. And you know that if you just, spend 10 minutes on the ellipticals, then do 3 sets of 12 reps on the strength, 10 more minutes on the bikes, and then the last 3 strength pieces, then you're done in around 40 minutes. You can spend 20 minutes in the pool, and after an hour you walk out and you are completely done. And you actually did a really good workout. So what do you think about it, Kevin?
No, it's circuit training has long been very valuable for our industry. It gets people involved in this case, you've got a great combination of aerobic and anaerobic work. So you could do a lot of high intensity interval training here. You put a trainer in the center, which is great. This person could coach, 15 people at one time and rotate them through. So, but doing it outside is what's special. So that's really the kind of the thing, is be able to do that out by a pool. I think would have a lot of people attracted.
Yep. So then the senior solutions, as Kevin mentioned, a fast-growing group, and there's actually good reasons to create specific spaces where the barriers are really low. It's really easy to go into the outdoors. Literally, there's no walls that actually can hold you back. And of course, you also here need to provide real effective training. And one of the reasons actually in order to do it is because we can definitely have some serious healthcare savings when we right, Kevin, when we prevent the elderly from falling.
Absolutely, 100%. And this is probably going to be the biggest segment of growth in membership in the next 20 years, because you've got more boomers falling into this category. And falling is a devastating thing, and it's going to continue to grow. I couldn't think of a better new space for programming than dealing with this. Silver Sneakers members, I mean, just the whole community. You could do a program for the community and charge them separately without them having to join the club. I can't even imagine how many people that should come, because what Rob's going to show us in a second is really revolutionary in how we can put people through a program that will help them from falling. So it's really a tremendous growth opportunity.
Yep. Well, and this is an example of what you could do. And again, not 20,000 feet. This one is around 15,000 feet. So it's still a big one. But what you see here is actually, of course, we created this garden-like feeling. That's a choice. You don't need to do that. But this was actually created for an elderly home. And here we actually see that, okay, in the forefront, we actually have these very specific items which are all about fall prevention. Having learning to or keeping the ability to walk stairs up and down, having the exercise to lift your toes. So a very simple thing, but super effective. And then on the other side here, there's more equipment which is very focused on mobility, but also flexibility. So and balance. So balance exercises, and this, of course, some basic strength. But of course, if you look to elderly people, one key thing that you need to train is actually your core strength, and of course the strength of your quadriceps and your upper body. So that is really, really important. And luckily, we also see more and more, workout programs who actually have more focus on strength training. So that's also why Selectorize actually should be in a solution like this, combined with some cardio equipment. And in this case, I choose to put in a bike, which actually has a very low entrance, so it's very easy for people to get in, and then an arm bike, which was actually designed also to be used from a wheelchair. So this is a very specific site target to elderly, slightly bigger one. And of course, not everyone has the space and the budgets to start at big. But also here, things are actually scalable. So we can actually scale it down, and then within a very limited space, we can actually have almost the same functionalities, but just a little bit less diversity. The mega sites. And I see that because I know this site is actually, this site is around 50,000 feet. And there's actually a good reason to show these kind of solutions, because a mega site like this has a completely different function. This is real destination power. If you create a site like this, then you actually create an area that will attract families, that will attract people to spend there much more time than just an hour. They will be here probably half a day. And this is a site that we've created for the city of Tel Aviv, but they actually also have a business model on this. So, and that actually business model is that they have paid parking. So this site is being paid by the fact that people from all around Tel Aviv actually go to the site. They need to pay, park their car, and they pay for it. There is a coffee corner, and they actually sell the licenses for personal trainers to be allowed to work out in a space like this. And that, of course, is a great way to fund the site like this. And this is actually the real deal. You see that in most vendors, we don't show the shading, but shading is, of course, if you need it, if you're in an area where it can be very hot, then you need to have shading. And in here, it's close to the desert, so they definitely needed shading. But what it also does is that all these posts, there's lights in, there's music in. So this site is there's a really, really active area which has a great atmosphere. If you go there in the evening, there's music, the whole site is lit up, and it's just packed with people. So that is a site which, where if you go to a certain size and you pay attention for the design, you really, make sure that you design it well, then you really can create something that attracts a huge amount of people. And this is close to your hometown, right?
Yeah, this is my New York showroom. I can say this: there's probably no other site that's got more research on usage than this site. We've watched it since we built it. It's really a fantastic example of what an immersive experience can feel like. It serves all the residents of Stuytown. There's 25,000 of them there, and you'll see such a broad demographic using the equipment here. It's just really exciting, and everybody just wants to go over and get on the site. It has a magnetic field around it that pulls you in. There's a little more of a closer drill down on this. Again, it's open all day. You've got people that actually Stuytown has 2 fitness centers. So you've got people coming out to train. Trainers are bringing clients out, but you're getting people that didn't go to the fitness center training here first, and now they're joining the fitness center. So you get cross traffic both directions. It's just a great example of how to take some space and really utilize it so it really becomes valuable.
Yep. Yes, and it's actually a site where they converted a hockey pitch into this fantastic outdoor training site. And when we opened this site, actually half a year after it was opened, I went there with one of my colleagues, and we did the interviews for a full week. So we interviewed over 300 people. And one of the things that we actually asked them was, okay, do you consider yourself to be, before you started working out here, as active or inactive? And as inactive, we actually, our definition at the time was, okay, if you haven't done any exercise for the last 2 years, we actually consider you to be inactive. And what we saw that was actually 27% of the people who used that site was considered themselves as being inactive previously. And that actually meant that those people started to be interested in fitness. And that was actually due to this outdoor offering. So, and if I had the dialogue with people and ask them, okay, but you actually have access to this great indoor facility, why didn't you get started there? Some of them were like, okay, I don't think it's something for me. I don't want to be there, and everyone is looking at everyone. And then we asked him, okay, but there's more people also here. Does it actually change your mind about using the indoor facilities? And most people actually were positive about it, so they could see themselves also going indoor if the weather would turn bad. Well, if we talk to people who were actually using the indoor, there was a very small percentage of the indoor fitness users who actually saw the outdoor as a full replacement. So who actually thought, okay, I'm not going back indoor. There were some who actually said, I like the outdoor so much, I'm not going back to the indoors. Most of them, they actually said, I like the combination. I like to be able to do it outdoors, but I definitely also see benefits of using indoors. So,
let me add this. I'm down here about 2 days a week, and every time I'm there, I see a trainer using a heavy rope or battle rope or TRX straps. So a lot of our stuff will enable you to use whatever gear that you've got existingly. So you have to look at, there's so many, it's versatile. You could do a lot of things with it.
Are you working out then, Kevin, or just visiting?
No, I actually am. So I'll take some video, Rob. Okay. I'm gonna get Eddie.
I do need to see proof of that.
I'm trying to get Eddie down there as well. So when we both come down there, we'll give you the video.
Yes. Well, that's good. That's great. Like seeing your solution that we created then there. But talking on that design, that design actually, of course, also that you can scale and you can make very big. So here we actually have a solution which is 50,000. This one is actually 50,000 feet big, and here you can see that if you go that big, it's the same like indoor. Then you need to start creating different zones. You know, if you just plunge it equipment, people get lost. So if you go very big, you need to create areas. So here you see, for example, the group training area. This is your selectorized full cardio with a big screen so that you can actually broadcast classes. Here you have, the circular training. Here you have your functional training areas with some great spots for PTs also to do small group training. And then what's new about this design is, and what I really like, is that we actually combined it with a huge playground. If you do something like that, you get a completely different dynamics of a site. But also you get a fantastic way to attract families with young kids. So this one is, I more or less made this one for myself because I have three small kids. So this is the site that I want to join. And we are actually working hard on creating first one, slightly smaller, 20,000 square feet. We're making the final designs, and we are, I think, within a few months, it should be up and running. It's not going to look exactly like this, but it will more or less have the same layout. So also here you can see we're going to have a playground area. We're going to have a cardio with a screen, selectorized group training area with a screen, and then here your CrossFit area and your street workout calisthenics. Obstacle course around it, and then a running track. Um, I say we, but it's actually we found an investor who is willing to build this pilot case. We believe very strong that outdoor fitness can actually work as a commercial model, but Kompan doesn't have the ambition to be that commercial. We want to serve people who know how to build clubs and who know how to run a club. But of course, we also understand that sometimes, we need to help to provide the proof. So this is a pilot in Europe that we're going to do. And the basics for the investments is actually very simple. And I'm going to talk you through this, so you don't need to read all of this, but the idea is very simple. We've been looking at one of the biggest low-cost fitness clubs. And what is the term that you use for this, Kevin?
HVLP, high volume, low price, or high value, low price.
Exactly. And that's in Europe, one of the biggest is Basic Fit. And the reason why I used them as an example is because they actually went public in 2016. It's a few years ago, but that actually meant that there was a very detailed prospectus, which actually gave us good insights on, okay, what are their numbers? And if Basic Fits builds a new club, then they build a club on average of around 20,000 square feet. And it costs them roughly 1.6 million as an investment. Either they need to purchase a club or they need to build it from scratch on. So that's the building and everything which is needed. Then on average, they have marketing. Oh, if I'm comparing that, sorry, I will make the comparisons right away. If we're comparing that with the outdoor club, then 20,000 square feet of outdoor fitness club has a much lower investment. It's almost the half of it. And that simply has to do because I don't need to put up the walls. I don't need to put up the air conditioning systems, etc., etc. Then, of course, marketing costs probably the same. The rent of the space is much lower. It is it's cheaper to actually rent outdoor space. So also there's a difference. And then we can see that in the case of the Basic Fit, they need to lease equipment. We took it actually in the investment. Personnel costs are the same. The depreciation, of course, is different because the initial investment is different, and the utilities are also less on an outdoor facility. It's you don't need to heat it, you don't need to cool it. Of course, you need to clean it, and you need to put some lights on, etc. But in the end, if you do this rough calculation, you will see that the yearly costs are also around half of the cost from an indoor side. So then if you look to the memberships fee, in the end, it basically comes down to if you build an outdoor facility and you create a site which is just as attractive for people to actually as what they can get in the indoor environment, then you should be able to have a break even with more or less half of the members. And I know that this is very theoretical and it's easy to calculate like this, but as mentioned, we are willing to work with you on creating those first sites and getting the insights and getting the learnings. And this is a case in Europe. So if any of you is interested to work with us in this in the US, then reach out to Kevin and let's get started to this. But
Yeah.
we are aware that not everyone is able to start this big, either due to space or due to budget, or because you need to be careful what you do. So you can also start smaller. And in order to help you to get started, we actually think that we had a good offering, right, Kevin?
Yeah, this is a great way to do a scalable option. So it really depends on your space. How much space do you have? Do you have some areas outdoors that are underutilized, or what fits your club the best based on what you already have indoors? So the arm bike is a great piece of cardio. Or if you want to be geared more towards small group training, or maybe you want to drive revenue with SGT, one-on-one, boot camp, and you want to run small classes, the Combi 5 would be a great way to start. And then we could complement either one of those two with other pieces that would give you a nice, small, little miniature outdoor area that, as Eddie would say, it's better to fire a bullet than a missile. So this is a great way to get started and grow it from there.
Yep. I made some very quick renders because I didn't know that this was coming until yesterday. So I think it's a great offer and a great way to get started. But here's what you see. If you do an investment in, for example, some cardio pieces and some jump boxes, that actually gives you a site like this. And then you could choose to actually have the Combi 5 for free. And then you actually have a site which doesn't require a lot of space, but has a huge potential because it has the safe areas for people to start with cardio, but it also allows people to do strength and mobility training based on their own body weight. So that is one way to use this, and of course, based on the space that you have, based on the user group that you want to target, we can go in any direction. So this is just one example. And here you see another example. If you, the rig on the left, that's a combination area of training where we actually have what we call the magnetic bells. So free moving weights, and also with on the right suspension trainers that actually allows you to do, all the TRX exercises, and a net structure in the middle, which is great because there's also a pull-up bar in, and that whole setup that also actually allows you to do a full body workout. But then if you choose to actually have, for example, the arm bike added to it, again, that will add so much value because the arm bike is great either to do some cardio for your upper body, but it definitely also works very well in the circular training. Just half a minute full throttle on the arm bike, that will really get your heart rate up. So
Yeah.
that is something that would really fit in this setup. But again, it's just two examples, and there's so many ways that we can go, but we are happy to help you with creating those solutions. And I think actually that is, that is the end of the story we have for today. And we are definitely open for questions from your side.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Kevin. Clive Caldwell has clubs up in Toronto, and he's got a question. Says, do you have outdoor dumbbells, barbells, and outdoor benches? So I know Kevin wants to address that.
I'll have Rob address that because we are working on some arrangements to possibly change where we're going to get that stuff, but I'll let Rob speak to that one.
Yeah, so for now, the answer is simply no. But so what we do is all the structures that you can also leave in unsupervised circumstances. So that is actually where we have the focus on, but we are working on some partnerships in order to be able to also supply outdoor dumbbells, barbells, and that is something that I expect to have in place in a very short period of time. And that's the best answer I can give to this question.
Thanks, Rob. Clive, I know that one of the solutions I've seen is looks similar to kettlebells on a rope, on a cable, but it's really more like a Smith machine. So there is weight bearing exercises they can do to compensate for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the benches, for example, yes, we have benches, but those benches you need to install them, so you need to put them in the concrete, or you need to bolt them down on a surface. So that's not the flexibility that you're probably looking for in this case.
And I know no club members would ever take dumbbells home with them.
No, it doesn't happen.
No, of course not. Never.
Happen. Never happens at all.
No.
Okay, Clive said thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions from participants that are out there? You can just put them in the Q&A, or you can put them in the chat, either one, and we can see.
Eddie, I've got a few questions when it's appropriate. I was wondering if people could respond. How many people are using a tent currently? That's one of my questions.
So everybody on the call, can you either just raise your hand or put it in the chat or in the Q&A if you're actually using a tent right now for outdoors? Clive is no.
No, and I see some hands raised.
Yeah.
Susie's yes. So there are a few, Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin, the ones I've seen have been mostly because of weather and climate. Oregon, Jersey, Florida, California, because of the heat. They're using some sort of shades, if not tents.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, so we're at almost near the top of the hour. So I want to thank Rob because it's about 6 or 7 hours later. He's here on the East Coast in the US. Appreciate that. And Kevin, thanks for helping put all this together. I want to thank all the Rex members, especially for being great supporters of each other. I just want to remind the Rex members, next Wednesday, Dana Cavalier, if you can see the book, Habits of a Champion, which most of you have copies of. He's a former strength coach for the Yankees for 13 years and a good friend of mine. He's going to give a talk on Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And if you didn't get the registration, shoot me a quick email and I'll be happy to get it over to you. With that, I want to say thank you to everybody. Have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend here in the US. Thanks for all you guys do, and everybody have a great weekend. Thanks.
Thanks, Eddie.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.